All right, day 2 has officially begun. It started a little late. We wanted to start at 7:30 to be able to get that first set of emails sent out. It's currently 9:15. 7:30, the emails did not get sent out because I had some stuff pop up on the military side that I had to take care of. I had formation, PT, different things like that. So whatever it is, what it is. We're gonna fall back to that plan like I mentioned yesterday. Plans always fall apart. They never go the way they're supposed to. So at the end of the day, you always fall back onto that system that you create for yourself. And according to the system that I created, from what I've learned through YouTube and the community that Mitchell has, is that 10 or 11:30 is going to be the next set of emails that goes out throughout the day. So it's okay, we missed the first window. We'll just pick it back up on the second window at 11:30. And then from now until 11:30, all I'm going to do is I'm going to use that time to be productive, continue adding people to the email list, and then we'll go from there. All right, it's 11:45. We got 10 emails sent out. 2 of the emails that were on the list were not found. The addresses were not found by Google, so I'll probably just call those guys and talk to them directly. So we got essentially 8 emails sent out to different companies. I'll wait a day or two. We'll see how they respond. If they respond, and if they don't respond within 2 to 3 days, I'm gonna go ahead and send a follow-up email. And then if they don't respond to that, I'll probably just shoot them a call and try to get them on the phone. So we'll get some more emails popped up for different industries. And then later on tonight, when I get back to the office, I'll send the second set of emails, or I'll probably do it right before I leave, so I meet the time frame. It's just a little bit after 5 p.m. We finished up the workday on the military side. We went ahead and we drove over here to the office. Right before we left the base, we went ahead and we sent 10 more emails out to some companies in a different industry. And then we also got a response from one of the companies that we emailed earlier today. It was just a guy saying he wasn't interested. That's all cool. Like, I'm not too worried about it. Volume is gonna be your key there. There's gonna be a lot of people not interested. Your goal isn't to like hard sell somebody, right? You're trying to come off as a community builder, not a salesperson for a company. Also, 2 things that I've gained knowledge on from speaking with other business owners that are doing the same thing and watching other videos and reading in forums and in the community and everything like that, is that the people that you usually have to convince that this would be a good idea for them, sometimes they're going to give you some problems on the back end about just like complaining and stuff like that, and that's just something you don't want to deal with. And then also sometimes, or a lot of times, they're not going to be recurring, I guess, investors, or not really investors, but they're not going to come get another slot next month. There's just going to be like a one and done deal, and the goal is to fill most of the card up with people that are going to come back every single month. They're not going to be complaining every month on how they only got 5 new customers instead of 50. You really don't want to deal with those types of people. You want to make your life as easy as possible. So just get the people, just look for those people that are already marketing. They're interested in marketing and getting into it if they haven't already. And they have no problem spending $500 a month to be exposed to 5,000 more homes. And again, whenever you're talking to these people, if they start asking you questions about what your guarantees are, this is in one of the parts of the course or the community or whatever you want to call it, right? You're not selling results, you're selling exposure, or you're selling real estate on a card that's going to get them 5,000 of exposure. So you can't guarantee that they're going to get a certain amount of customers. All you can guarantee is that they're going to reach 5,000 homes and be looked at by 5,000 families. And then that could easily be over 10,000 people seeing that between a husband and a wife, right? Considering every single one of those homes has a married couple in it. Probably not, but at least 7,500 people are going to see this. So that's all you're guaranteeing is exposure, not results. And then remember that when you're talking to the people, emailing back and forth, talking on the phone, if they ask you that question, they might catch you off guard with it. You wouldn't know to say. Now you do. So there's that. And then also too, one thing I should have checked before I started with this town. This is a town that I grew up in. I know a lot of the business owners that are there. My family knows a lot of the business owners that are there. For like the small local businesses, like in a town square or whatever, we know some of those guys. Typically you want at least a population of 15,000 or more. And I just searched this one up that I grew up in, and the population is 14,976, I believe. So it's like right at the threshold of where it should be. But ideally you would want more than 15,000, like significantly more than 15,000. So that's going to make it a little bit harder. But the fact that I did grow up there, and I do know a lot of the business owners there, and I'm able to network a little bit, and I know the area pretty well, along with my family and everything else. I think that kind of gives me a little bit of an edge, so it kind of levels out the playing field a bit. But yeah, if you're in a place where you don't really know anybody, definitely over 15,000, because what I'm finding right now is that I'm only able to find maybe 10, maybe 15 companies in each industry that are actually locally owned and not some big franchise, because that's kind of, I'm going towards like the more small business, locally owned people, not the ones that's just a big franchise that just so happens to be in my town. Obviously, that you got to work with the chain of command that they have, right? Of going all the way up through manager and then general manager and all this other crap. So you don't want to deal with that. Just try to find these small local businesses like mom and pop shops, or maybe something a little bit bigger than a mom and pop shop, but I assume that you know what I mean. And then that's really it. That's the advice that I have right now in this moment. I'm gonna go ahead and keep building the email list out. And then that way tomorrow we can send 30 more emails. So I'm just gonna keep adding industries all the way up until I feel like I've hit every important industry that I wanna hit as far as putting them on a list. And it's just a matter of time of getting the emails out and then responding to everybody and then sending up follow-up emails. And then also maybe doing some phone calls here and there. If I send a follow-up email and they don't answer, I'm just gonna call them. Or I'll just wait until I get down to Georgia and I'll just show up in person, you know? So that's the plan. All right, so one of the issues that I keep running into, and it's like kind of annoying, I'm not gonna lie. So next to go around with this, I'll probably just outsource it to somebody else and have them build the email list. But my biggest problem that I keep running into is that when I go to Google to look up the companies for whatever industry in this specific town, it's like I'll get 3 or 4 that are actually in the town, and everything else says it's in the town, or it says it serves this town or county or whatever it is. And then I go to their website and I'm looking at like the areas that they service, and it's like an hour and a half away from this town, like nowhere near it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude, it's so annoying. So I don't really know. So it's just a lot of back and forth and stuff like that. So probably what I'll do is I'll either look at going from the town level to the county level, or I'll just move it to the bigger area where a lot of these places are, like the bigger town or whatever. So that's still up in the air. We'll contact all the companies. We'll see. I tried calling one of them because they had like no email or anything like that. It didn't really say the areas they service or nothing. So I tried calling them. It said they were open. Tried calling like 2 or 3 times, didn't get an answer. So I'll call them again tomorrow and find out. And if I can get the owners on the phone, because it's a family business and it's like just a husband and his wife that owns it. So if I can get in contact with them, I can just pitch it over the phone, and probably, as long as they're in the right area, I can probably close them that day or that like phone call. So excuse the military blanket. It's a little cold in here. I forgot to my jacket. It's at home. So yeah, email list is coming along. Pretty brutal, I'm not gonna lie. This is pretty freaking boring. So I'm definitely gonna outsource this next time to Mitch and his team. I don't know if he has a team or if it's just him, but either way, I'm definitely outsourcing it to him next time. This is brutal. I don't like building email lists. I'd rather just organize everything, put everything together, call the people, collect a paycheck, and then pay somebody else to do all the work. So that's probably what I'm gonna do from here on out. At least I can say I did it, I tried it. Not for me. I'm just going to outsource everything like I originally planned. So yeah, there's that. Maybe you have a different experience. You might enjoy it. I have no idea, but I definitely do not. So this is one of the more boring parts of the business, is just getting the emails. Not the most fun part, I'm not gonna lie. I much more enjoy talking to the business owners. So that's just me. You might be different. So take that with a grain of salt. I guess that's the term. I don't know. Grain of rice, grain of salt. I have no idea. Whatever. You know what I mean. All right, it's about 9:30 p.m. I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up for the day. So we got no new clients, but what we did get is we got the emails sent out. We got the email list completed. So some of you guys, if you're doing this, if you're in the same stage that I'm in, you might see this as a loss for a day because you didn't get any clients. But me personally, I see it as a win. I got some emails sent out, like the first few emails sent out. I got the entire ad list, or not ad list, but the entire email list completely filled out so far with all the industries I want. I'm not gonna name the exact industries. You can find all that in the community, but some of the ones to focus on, if you're just watching the video, it's gonna be industries that are heavy spenders. So think of like any industry that's gonna spend a lot of money on ads. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Google, whatever it is, and you can find a lot of these. Some examples might be like realtors or financial services or something, or even car dealerships. Blue collar services. So anything, when I say blue collar services, like a service-based business where their typical client is spending a few $1,000s or a few $100s at a time. Or maybe it might be where it's a service where they're gonna come back on a weekly or a monthly basis and they can gain customers that way. Health and wellness is a really big one, and then just miscellaneous other things, right? Those first are gonna be the main ones that I'm targeting. And then essentially all it really comes down to is email, email, email. This is all coming straight from the notes. I did some more research and some more studying earlier. So the timing matters. So I have 3 different timing windows that I'm going to be emailing. I explained that earlier today, I believe. And then follow-up is going to come 2 to 3 days after I get no response to that initial email. And then you got to keep those follow-ups simple, shorter emails or shorter phone calls, and use the owner's name if you can. One thing that I've been running into is that it's some of the ones that's really easy to find their names, like the owner's names of the businesses. But some of these like small businesses that are a little bit bigger, it's not really that easy to find the owner's name, in my opinion. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong way, I don't know. But I know for the ones I was looking at, it was a little bit harder to find the owner's names for some specific industries. But we're getting it figured out. I'm gonna call the companies that I cannot get emails for. There's a few. There's probably one in each industry where I couldn't really find an email or really need contact information. So I'm assuming those are a lot smaller, which is kind of the ones I'm going for. So I'll just give those guys a call probably tomorrow or later in the week, and then go from there. Right now it's just a numbers game. We have everything set up. The payments are already set up to be able to get paid. All the list is created. Everything's done, and everything's in the spot that it needs to be in for this all to work. All we gotta do is hit the volume. We gotta send the emails, get through the numbers, and then go from there. Really, I mean, that's all I can say. If that doesn't work, we either do more volume or we try a different city, or maybe even go to a county level. I don't know. That might be something good too. So if the town's small, maybe we go to a county level and it involves like 2 or 3 towns, at least for this area, and then we can get a little bit more outreach, a little bit more companies in there. I'm not sure. So we'll figure it out. You guys will come with me to figure it out along the journey. But yeah. All right, day 2 is officially over. I believe we came out on top today. I don't think it was a bad day. I think we made good progress. But with that being said, it's the end of the day, the end of the video. I'm gonna leave you with a little bit of advice, just coming from what I've learned in the military that has helped me in my other businesses, as well as just what I've learned from other business mentors, right? And I know yesterday the advice was to take action, but once you take action, you're gonna notice that there's easy days, there's hard days, there's fun days, there's not so fun days, there's ups and there's downs every step of the way throughout your business, whatever that business may be, whether you want to call it a side hustle, a business, whatever, it's all the same thing, right? You're gonna have your ups and you're gonna have your downs. When you're in those moments that you feel like it's getting hard, or you feel like things aren't so fun anymore, just remember why you started, right? Was it to escape your 9 to 5? Was it to support another business? Was it to kind of support your family a little bit more because you're not making enough money at your actual job? You just want to be able to pay bills and maybe take them on a nice vacation and show some love to them. Those are different things. I don't know what your why is. It might be deeper than that. It might be to retire your parents. That's what my why is, because I want to retire my parents. They're both old. They're both still working. They don't really have anything. I'm trying to set my family up for generations, for the following generation. I'm talking grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, all the way down. But yeah, so you have 2 people in life. You have successful people and you have unsuccessful people. And the main difference, the one thing that's consistent among all of them, no matter what industry or anything, the one thing that is consistent between successful people is that they never gave up. They never quit, they never stop pushing, they never stop working. The one thing that's consistent with all unsuccessful people is that at some point down the journey, they decided to give up. And they can say, oh, well, I failed 15 times. Well, if you knew that you only had to fail 16 times in order to be successful, how fast should you fail those 16 times? You don't know that, right? So no matter what, keep pushing, never give up. It doesn't matter if it takes a month or if it takes a year. At some point, you'll eventually succeed because you'll just outwork everybody else. That's really all the advice that I have for today. Tomorrow, it's gonna be a pretty slow week moving forward. All we gotta do is continue sending emails. I'm gonna try to do some calling around. That way you guys can hear some calls, see kind of like how those would go, if we can get in contact with anybody. So that's the plans for tomorrow. I'm just gonna fall back onto the system. We're gonna follow the system, emails 3 times a day, morning, lunch, and dinner, and then we'll go from there. So see you guys tomorrow.